Hi everyone, welcome to the French Immersion Collective. I'm Jeanne d'Arc. Thanks for being here today. I hope all of you had a really wonderful week. Mine was a bit stressful, so I'm happy it is the weekend. On this episode, I want to answer some teacher questions that were sent to me. They're all about online learning and being a teacher during COVID, so I hope you find some of these answers useful. And I received a lot of questions. I only chose 5 for tonight that I wanted to answer. These were 5 questions that I found were asked a lot. So I hope you find them helpful. And if your question isn't answered, I'm going to be doing another video next week. And if you have a suggestion for an answer to some of the questions that I answered tonight, please feel free to share them on the comments or send it to me and I will mention it next week. So the first question, and grab a tea. I made a nice warm drink because I need to do some self-care, and I hope all of you are remembering to do that too, because this is a difficult time, isn't it? So the first question I want to answer was sent to me from a teacher in Ontario named Amanda. Amanda wants to know, how do I get students to keep their mask on? So right now where I live, the schools are actually all closed. But when we were in person, what I was doing was I was telling students how nice their masks were. I would tell them that I liked what the masks looked like and that it was really cute, or I would ask them questions about it. I think that made students feel really special, and I think that made them want to wear it properly. I didn't really have a problem in my class with students not wanting to wear them, and most of the students wore it properly. But we did talk about at the beginning of the year, how to wear your mask and why it's important. And I feel like the parents also talked about it with them, and so it wasn't really a problem in my class. But I felt just, a real positive attitude about it made the students want to wear it, and they always remembered. So that was really great. If you have a different suggestion or do something in your class that works, please share it in the comments. And I would also be happy to share it next week. So this question was a question that was sent to me a lot. I received it 5 times. So Amanda, Jason, David, Suhana, and Michelle all sent me this message. Teachers from all over Canada. They want to know, how do you get your students to turn their cameras on? So this is a good question. It's a question that a lot of my colleagues are also asking. So during class, it's difficult sometimes the students have their cameras off. I ask them if they could, before we start a lesson, I say, okay, everyone, please turn your cameras on. But I know that there are situations where some students maybe don't feel comfortable or maybe they can't. But at the beginning of the year, when all of this started, or when we went online, I spoke with all the parents on the phone and I asked them how they felt about their child having their camera on. Most of them said it's okay. So if I know that a student can have it on, I do ask them, can you turn your camera on? But sometimes they don't want to. I don't want to say it too many times. I mean, I'm sure you all feel the same. I remind them before lessons and I kind of give a general comment to my class like, oh, it would be really great to see you all, or that way you can see your friends and talk with them and you can feel more involved in the conversation. But I guess there's only so many times we can ask, and we have to be mindful of the reason it may not be on to. If you have something that seems to work, please share it in the comments. Another question that I received a lot of is, how do you do small groups or guided reading online? So this is a good question. So for me, this is what I do. On my online learning platform, I will schedule a few students to do a reading group with me. And so I'll write, for example, at 9:30 today, these particular students are going to be joining a meeting with me, and we're going to be doing small group reading, math, whatever we're studying. And then I put an assignment for the rest of the class. I'll say at 9:30, these 5 students are working with me, but during that time, everyone else is doing this activity. And then I'll say at 10 o'clock, for example, everyone will join the meeting. So this is how I get my small groups done. I don't want to have multiple meetings running at the same time because I don't feel comfortable knowing that students are scattered all over the place. I rather know that some are with me and some are working offline, and then at what particular time we will all be together. This has worked for me. If you have a different suggestion, please write it in the comments. Another question that I received a lot of is how do you handle parents coming on the screen to talk with you while you're teaching? So I know a lot of parents have done this, and teachers might have mixed feelings about this, but I don't brush them off right away because they may have to tell me something that's actually important, and I don't know what the reason they want to talk to me is. So if I know that if I know that they need to talk to me in the moment, I will listen to them. But if it's something that I can tell is getting maybe like a little giving personal information, I remind them that we can talk about it later. And I always say that I will phone them on a break or at the end of the day. And I haven't had any issues with that. The parents seem to be pretty understanding, but I think they feel like because they know we're there and they can hear us, that they can just pop on and say something. I haven't had any parents, everyone seems to be pretty understanding during this time. If you have a different suggestion, again, please write that in the comments. The last question that I want to answer tonight is, how do you keep your students engaged to the school community while teaching online? This question was asked by 4 or 5 people, so this is actually a really good question. So for me, what I do, because I teach younger students, so some of them, I feel like they do need that connection. What I've done so far is I've invited different teachers to come into our class and to participate in activities like play a game with us, or the librarian comes in to read a book to us, and my students really seem to like it. Also, the school has made different presentations and things like that, where different classes will add different pages to it, and so we can see what the work that the other classes are doing. And we also try to participate in days where people may wear like a silly sweater or a funny hat, and then things like that, just to feel like we are connected. But I mean, it is difficult at this time. If you have any suggestions about what you're doing at your school, I would love to hear it, because this is a place that I want everyone to feel like, we're all helping each other and we're all supporting each other. I did have 2 more questions that I wanted to answer. These 2 you may not be interested in. They're not about teaching. These were about things that happened in other videos that I've posted. One is about Dr. Hoshka. Now this is about my moisturizer that I use. Someone wants to know if, actually 2 people wrote to me and asked me about Dr. Hoshka and wanted to know if I use any other Dr. Hoshka products. And yes, I do. I use many of his products. I don't know if Dr. Hoshka is a male or a female, but I do use a lot of those products. And so I'll make another video about that. And the last question that I was asked was, in the video, one of the videos I made, I was wearing a striped sweater, a blue and white striped sweater. Somebody wanted to know where it was from. It's from J. Crew, and it's from 2 years ago, so I don't know if you'll be able to find it now. Well, I think that's all for today. I hope you found some interesting or useful information in my video. I hope that you're doing well. I hope that everything that is posted here is helpful for you, and if not, at least it's something that you can come and listen to and get an idea, or maybe an idea will inspire you to share with a friend, a teacher friend, or anyone you know. Please subscribe to my channel. Please come on back soon. I will have a new video posted next week about teaching in French, how to teach, teaching tips for teaching French, and also I'm going to be making the video about Dr. Hashka. So I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and thank you for being here. Merci, au revoir.